Welcome to my final project where I'm going to be focusing on microlearning and how I've been able to apply it daily in my classroom. For those of you unfamiliar with microlearning, it's characterized by its short and focused learning units that deliver specific and concise information to learners. And here are the 8 features that I have come to know as the best to highlight microlearning. The first is brevity. Microlearning is obviously designed to be short and focused from a few seconds to a few minutes. Focused learning objectives. It's a specific learning concept or skill so they can grasp the takeaway without getting distracted by other information. Accessibility, they can explore it through digital platforms on any type of device, whether it's a Chromebook for my students or for iPhone or tablet. Engagement. It incorporates a lot of interactivity so that the students are captured by what they see on the screen. Multimodal content. Microlearning can utilize a lot of different multimedia formats like videos, infographics, podcasts, interactive presentations. Next is on-demand learning. So learners can access content very quickly in order to acquire this information or skills as needed. Adaptability, it can be adapted to remain relevant and up to date over time and to fit any learning objective that you're looking for. And last, progress monitoring. So a lot of these microlearning platforms can track your progress and performance to monitor learning outcomes as well as identify any areas of improvement. Microlearning overall is convenient and effective by breaking down topics into easier chunks of information. So I decided to do some microlearning sessions this week in my book clubs that I do at school. As a reminder, I am a multi-grade 4th and 5th grade teacher at a charter school in Connecticut. So I have 6 students that are currently reading Swindle by Gordon Corman. They are at various F&P instructional levels ranging from P through T. I have 2 5th grade students in my group and 4 4th grade students in my group. Class is multi-grade, so commonly to have mixed grades in these book club groups. The book itself is a level T. One of the tasks that we do in each book club meeting is to review vocabulary in preparation for an upcoming chapter. In this case, they do 2 chapters every reading session. And this was the task that I decided to focus on for my microlearning final project. If I were to display my learning objective, as I know some schools are required to, mine is not, it would be to improve vocabulary retention through daily microlearning sessions. So as part of my students' book club, they have a vocabulary sheet with all the vocabulary words that I chose from the book and the corresponding page number. Typically, we have somebody called the dictionary detective, and this person will go ahead and look up unknown words that we can't figure out from context clues. So typically we'll start with the book, we'll read the sentence with the vocabulary word and use the context to figure it out. If they're able to figure it out, great. If not, we have somebody look up the word and then we read it from the book again to confirm it. So I chose to use Quizlet as my platform in order to implement my microlearning session. It was the easiest and quickest way that I discovered to use in order to study vocabulary words. So you start by creating a Quizlet set. You log into Quizlet, create a new study set with your words. You need to make sure that you include the word in its definition, and then you can also input any other relevant information. As you can see here, the only option that I came across that my students could use without having to create an account was Classic Live. So you click where it says Classic Live button, and then you create a game, and you can send them a link. I have Impero, so I can send links directly to their Chromebooks, and all they have to do is type in their name, and then they can participate in the game. You can do it in team mode or individual mode. Once you share the link, they can all start, and once you start the game, students will work on matching the terms to the definition or the definition to the term. The game continues until one person successfully matches all the terms in the set without a mistake. After the game ends, we review the vocabulary words that they did not do so well, and further on, I will discuss how my students perceived this activity. So as you'll be able to see on the video, you can tell that when a student gets the answer incorrectly, it shows them that they got the answer wrong and what the correct answer is. And that word will show up again in the set. Then students that get the answer correct, they'll see a check mark by their answer, and then it'll show up green at the top of the screen instead of red. So once we had done the activity, we've done it every book club meeting this week. So that was 3 different sessions. I asked them what they liked about Quizlet Live and what they didn't. What they enjoyed is that it was fun and it helped them remember the vocabulary quickly, because if they got an answer wrong, they would put that in their memory and be able to get it correct later on. There was the option of individual mode where the students would work on their own, and they really enjoyed that. What we didn't understand right away was team mode. So each student thought they got their own screen as part of a team, and then they were complaining that once they answered a question right, but it showed up as wrong, or they didn't even get the chance to answer a question and it was marked wrong. So what we determined is that when you're on a team, you have to work with the other people in your team. It's not like your scores get built together from 3 different people. The 3 different people each have one screen, but it's showing up on all of their screens. So if person 1 chooses an answer for their team, it affects 2 and 3, because even though they didn't mark it incorrect, because person 1 marked it incorrect, they all got it wrong. So now that we better understand team mode, we'll be able to go into our next micro learning session with vocabulary and be able to perform better. So the big question is, was it successful? Did it work? And the answer is yes. Each micro learning session with using the vocabulary took under 2 minutes, which is quick enough for them to review the vocabulary, for them to get familiar with the program, and to answer the questions. Now, what I would say is that this was the only activity that Quizlet offered that my students could use without having to create accounts. And that was the key here, is because knowing the privacy and the data restrictions and the data sharing that's happening in a lot of website and companies, I wanted to make sure that my students' data was protected. So I had to choose a program that had an activity where I could share it with them and they did not need to log in with their devices. So that was key for choosing Quizlet, in my opinion. So the students enjoy it, and we were able to do multiple sessions in a sitting because I had about 250 vocabulary words in this set, but it only gives a maximum of 12 words per session for Quizlet Live. So the students aren't overwhelmed with doing all of the vocabularies. So I wanted to do multiple micro sessions in order for them to be exposed to different vocabulary words. So we did about 10 micro sessions this week with the vocabulary. So although I would say that this micro learning task was indeed successful, I think there might be a few changes I make for next time. I really liked how it randomized the words that the students were given, though one of the great things I noticed later on was that they were each given the same 12 words each time. So it wasn't like they were competing against each other for different vocabulary. It was all the same vocabulary. I didn't enjoy how there was only one possible program for my students to be able to use without logging in. So if I had more time, I would like to research and trial out different AI programs that do work with vocabulary, where I could export what I've created in Quizlet and import it into another program that has more kid-friendly vocabulary activities that do not require a student login, again, because of data privacy. So in the event that I do need have them create a login, it would be something I would want to do in all my book club groups as part of a micro learning. And also, it would have to be something where if I went on to commonsense.org, that it could give me enough confidence and our IT personnel in the school confidence in allowing our students to use their Google accounts to log in. Now, if I had to create different logins for them, I would ensure that no personal information was being shared in the process of creating those accounts. So I look forward to finding new programs where I can continue to implement this for years to come.